Yeah, hello, welcome to another chat experience today. I'll be talking about directional bias. Uh, from my own experience, when I started trading, one of the challenges, or one of the challenge I actually faced was not understanding directional bias. So most of the times I take on a long position trade because I actually started trading futures. Like right, I really didn't enjoy trading spots on exchange as well, crypto market, right? So I prefer doing spots, I mean, rather futures. So one of the challenge I faced was not understanding directional bias. So I take on a long position trade and then only to be taken out because the trade was already on the sell side, and then taking a sell side trade only to realize that the trade was already moving to the long side, favoring the buys. All right. So after getting to understand all of that, what actually um, helped me was understanding directional bias. At the moment, right, I don't need to go through different what's it called, either using what's it called, the moving average, um, moving average lines or whatever to check what directional bias, where the market is at, what is happening. But just looking at the chart, I can tell, right? So I just want to share from my experience and also from principles of the chart, right? What directional bias is and what to look for and what to avoid. Like the Wyckoff will put it, is he says that that the first principle based on his five-step approach to the market is one would be to determine the present position and probable future trend of the market, right? And that alone, it's the principle, which means should you the moment you understand directional bias, the moment you understand where the market is heading to, right? Whether the market is going long, whether the market is bullish or bearish, the moment you get to understand these, or rather, the moment you get to understand these, it means that you will take a long position trade when the market is going long, right? And you take a short position trade when the market is going short, which means in any direction that the market is going, you already would be able to, not always, but probably know the direction of the market. And when you have come to understand the direction of the market, it's a game changer, right? So one of the ways to understand what's it called, directional bias. Let's say we have these. Let's say we are in an uptrend, right? So we have these. Let's make this blue. So, yeah. So in an uptrend, let's say this is it, and then we decide to use what's it called? Uh, a trend line to check, like some of you guys would use, right? When you're checking trades, let's say this is what it is like, and then you have your trend line tool, and you decide to draw your trend line to say, oh, okay, this is actually an uptrend, this is that, right? Okay, but apart from using the trend line tool, which it's most times helpful, the best thing to do is to understand the highs and the lows, or the higher highs and the higher lows, right? So let's say we have our high here. Let's say this was our high, and then this was our low, right? And then we have here as our higher high, and then we have here as our higher low, right? And then we have here as another higher high, and then higher low. Now, one easy way to get to understand this is just understanding that okay, the market is breaking previous highs. Okay, So which in a simple way is this: if you have your charts this way, you draw a line from the point at which the previous high was, okay, the point at which the previous high was, and then it's breaking previous highs, it's breaking previous highs, it's breaking previous highs. It means the market is actually uh, on an uptrend, right? Make that's it's a bullish market. Well, that's not the criteria for that actually, but let's say being the fact that you're new in the market and you have no much knowledge about what the market is like based on principles or something like that, right? So you just want to understand what uh, an uptrend is, right? Based on directional bias, looking at this, let's say we are actually using on the high as it is a higher time frame. This is a 4-hour chart. But let's say this is a 4-hour chart or a 6-hour chart or a 12-hour chart, right? Looking at this tells you that the market is on an up more in an upward direction, okay, meaning the market is moving upwards, right? It means the directional bias is bullish, okay? The directional bias is a bullish market or an upward movement market or an uptrend, right? Now let's say we have this, the market is moving downwards, right? These have these, we have these, we have these, we have these, we have these. Just a minute, let me get it in a good way. Right, just a minute. Let's move this upward so we can have space for this. Yeah. So let's say we have a tool this way, and then we're looking at checking about a downward movement or a downtrend. We have something like this. Okay. So the previous, let's see this way. Yeah, this way. Whatever form it is, but just to put it up right. Okay. So in a downward market, right, as it were, okay, it means that these points, which was, it means, okay, that the market is now making, instead of higher highs, higher lows, the market is now making um, lower highs and lower lows, okay? Um, so if this was our high, so if this was our high, okay, it means here will be our lower high, okay, here will be our lower low, here will be our lower high, here will be our lower low, okay. Sorry, I was putting, I did something here. It's not supposed to be higher low, but lower high. Okay, so now what you need to understand in this particular market is that here it was doing higher, a high and a low, a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. But in this particular market, let's say this was our high, and here we have lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. If we go back to the chart, let's say we go back to the chart, right? Let's just identify that. So this is the market here, right? So if this was our high, okay, let's say this is our high, these are lower high, lower high. This is another lower high. This is another lower high. Okay, and then we have here to be our lower low, LL. We have here to be LL. We have here to be LL. Here to be LL. So in a simple way to understand this is that the moment the market starts breaking structure to the lower side, it means the market is bearish, depending on time frame. Okay, so we have it there. Understanding directional bias to the upside, upward trade or uptrend, and then downtrend, right? So this would be our uptrend. Here have our uptrend, right? And here this would be our downtrend. Sorry about that. Okay, so this would be our uptrend. This would be our uptrend here, and then this other part would be uptrend. These are downtrend. Okay, so when you get to understand what's it called, um, a market that is bullish or a market that is bearish, or better put this way, when you get to understand an uptrend market and a downtrend market, then you will know how to manage your trade or how to enter. I mean, in terms of trade entries, right? You will know when to go long or when to go short just by understanding directional bias. Okay. Another thing that we have I would like us to note also is what we called what's called consolidation, right? Now, uh, for beginner traders, right? This is one place I don't love traders jumping in, especially when the trade the consolidation is how best do I put it? Uh, it's a short, a narrow range, right? A narrow range in a way. Okay. So, but before we do that, let me just show you what a ranging market is like, or what a ranging market looks like. Let's say we have this, right? Then we have this. Okay. So a ranging market will look like this. A market that moves from as a just on a horizontal, could be horizontal, yeah, horizontal, more like running in a range or a trading range. Okay, so this is it. Now, this is a ranging market. Okay, uh, one can make good trades from this um, ranging trade. Okay, so one could make depending on the range and also depending on the time frame. Okay, on a lower time frame, most times I don't advise people going into a trade, a ranging trade. Okay, in a ranging trade, it's more like, okay, if this is on a higher time frame, and let's say we have a percentage difference of maybe now this is crypto, right? Trading crypto market, not what's it called? Forex market. Okay, but all it still runs on the same principle, right? So this is about 12%, there about 12 point something percent. So should you enter the trade, let's say you go in long from here, right? You'll be looking at making probably um, 8% or something like that. And then should you decide to do short, go in short from here, it means you'll be taking almost 8 or 6% depending, right? So it means that this range is a wide range kind, right? But also we have very narrow range where what we call consolidation, right? Let's say the market is consolidating, right? It depends on your trade, what you call your time frame, right? It could be a one could enter or something like that. But in a consolidation phase, I really do not like or let I mean for new traders, right? Those I in my trading group, free actually the free group where I talk to people about new traders, right? Teach them how to trade. I always try to see how they can avoid trading when the market is consolidating, right? The best thing to do in such market, in such a phase like this here, the best thing to do is to just stay out of the market. Okay, is to stay out of the market at this point here. um, it's more like the market is at equilibrium, right? No direction, no, it's not moving. It's not no, like a higher high moving to the upside as it were, or to the downside as it were, right? But just moving um, in a random way, right? On tweets, some folks call it a chopping kind of market, right? So in entering such market, you just can't tell the position of the market, right? JC Livermore will put it this way, that the best thing to do is to stay out of a narrow market, okay? A narrow range, a place of consolidation. The best thing to do is to stay out of the market, okay? If you're looking at jumping into the trade here, is to stay out of the market until it has broken that phase of consolidation, either to the upside or to the downside, right? So just what's it called? To round up, or what's it called? To um, more like to recap what we just talked about. I told you about a higher, what's it called, an uptrend, right? An uptrend means that the trade is breaking to the upside. Okay, it's making higher highs, it's making higher highs, it's making higher highs, it's making higher highs. Okay, it's breaking to the upside. Okay, it means the market is moving up. So if this was our higher high, right, higher high, it means that the market is doing higher highs, right? Higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, okay? And then it's below here, it's your lower low, rather your higher low, okay? So we have here to be a higher low, okay? Another higher low, another higher low, okay? Now, if you observe this higher low, right? This is it. The next higher low is higher than the previous higher low. This one is higher than that. Okay, tells you that the market is in an uptrend. Okay, now if we're looking at a downtrend from this chart, okay, we already have it here. This is, let's say this is our high or higher high. This is our lower high, lower low. Previous lower high is higher than the previous lower high, okay? So it tells you that the market is in a downtrend, and that is that. It's simple. And also, as I also made mention, do yourself a favor. When the market is ranging, if it's a narrow range, stay out of the market. If it's a narrow range, stay out of the market. When the market is consolidating in a narrow phase, a narrow consolidation, a narrow phase, or a narrow consolidating market, stay out of it, because it's just going to be chopping out, hitting stops, and just that. Okay. So see you in another class where we'll be talking about some other things. If you have something you're looking at me talking about trading idea or something, you could just put in your, just send the chat, okay? Just a comment in this comment section, and I'll respond to it and see what we can do about it. Okay, good about that. Thank you.